like every filmmaker, I am nervous because it's something that you've worked on very, very passionately for such a long time. So many people involved who've given their time and their effort into this. So it's always a very, very nervous and yet exciting time for any filmmaker. And especially for a film like this, which is based on an incident which still kind of haunts public consciousness. It's another responsibility when you're making a film on a real story. That adds to the sense of, I won't call it anxiety, I would call it concern. Well, very few people have actually seen the film who I know personally. A few technical screenings happened of the prints, so that's how my family and people closely associated with either Jungly Pictures or Vishalji have seen the film, apart from the crew, the team that worked on it. Even that, I mean, a large part of the crew hasn't seen the film. They're going to see it on Thursday. But overall, the response has been very positive. For me, what was important was that across the board, what came across was that there was no unnecessary sensationalism in the film. It was very real, it was very honest, and that is what was our intention. And if that honesty shows through in the film, for me nothing could be more valuable in feedback. Actually, the idea to tackle this subject actually came from Vishalji. In conversations about the various subjects for what my next film should be. It grabbed me because I found the case very intriguing. It's so shrouded in a cloud of confusion and unnecessary hype and sensationalism that it would be nice to kind of clear it of all that and just look at the facts as they are. There's a lot of information on this case, yes, which has come out over a period of 8 years, which everyone may not remember. There are a lot of small details which everyone may not know. And when that is compiled and presented in a simple manner, where an average film-going person can watch it as a movie and yet make an opinion on what actually went down, whether and the other thing, when you call it the parents' side of the story or the police's side of the story, I actually find it not very surprising that most people do not remember that what today we know as the parent side of the story used to be the CBI story at one time. So all these theories are of the investigating agencies. The victims or the suspects never got a chance. They were not the ones who projected these theories. It was the investigating agencies which came up with the different theories. So when we did our research, because we wanted to make an honest film and we wanted to kind of sift through the clutter around the case, what came out very obviously was that the only way to do it was to then present all perspectives fairly and equally without taking sides. That would be more impactful than trying to, which we never even wanted to do. We didn't want to impose our opinions or our biases on anybody, and that the film doesn't do that at all. We were not approached. We have met all parties involved in this case, not just the family. We've met the investigators as well, and we met them when our research timeline was complete, with the intention of just seeing whether there is any other further layer with meeting these people that can be added to our material. We didn't go seeking permission, we didn't go seeking information, we didn't go seeking point of views, because we didn't want any one point of view. We wanted all of them. So whatever other issues may have cropped up with any other film that's sometimes supposed to be made on the subject and sometimes not, I really don't have a say in that. It's not easy because when you're shooting a film, you're not shooting it linear. So you shoot scenes back and forth, but you have to know your facts and your data and the history and the timeline of the case backwards. Then you have to brief your actors first one way, then another way. Uh, so I had to know my material, and then the actors needed to get that tone right, pitch perfect every time. It's a very, very delicate performance, each actor. Whether you look at Irfan's performance, he comes into the film at a time when the public, the media, the police have already made an opinion on the case. And he comes in, Irfan sir, as almost as disinterested. But then he starts sifting through stuff and a whole other theory emerges. He also needed to, keep a neutrality and not immediately as an investigator start falling for everything that, the suspects are saying. So every performance is very layered. And hats off to my cast, all of them, from the ones with the longest parts to the ones who come in 2 scenes. I mean, all of them were completely in mold of the character and completely seeped in realism with their performances. So yeah, it's a privilege to have actors like that in your film. The thing is that while making the film, one tried to not think of it as real people and a real story. I was just looking at it as my script, my screenplay, my characters. And every once in a while it would kind of hit me that, you know what, this is a real story, these are real people, they're still alive, this happened to them. And that kind of hits you like a truck, which is not easy to process. But you have to cope with it and carry on doing your job objectively. But yes, I mean, if you start counting from the time of research to the time of release, this film has taken close to 3 years of my life. So that's why when people ask me what next, I'm like, next is first trying to get this film off me and wipe the slate clean and start afresh. When we are casting this film, we are not looking for stars. That they happen to be, stars is a bonus for us. But for us, the main requirement was that they need to be fabulous actors. That was the motivation with which we went. Thankfully, it was such a space that every time a name would come up of an actor for a particular character, it was a unanimous decision. Or it was like, several people would be coming up with the same name. So, and filmmaking is a very instinctive process. So oftentimes when something instinctively comes to you, more often than not, it's right. So that's how, we have this wonderful powerhouse cast in the film, from the longest playing character to the smallest bit part in the film. I wouldn't say consciously his direction has influenced me, because I've never made the kind of films that he has. And even in this film, there was no way to kind of replicate what he does as a director, because he's never made a film in this genre either, an investigative police procedural. But his sense of realism, there's an edginess to his filmmaking. There's a sharpness to it. I'm hoping that, because a subject like this needs that. Whether I want to imbibe it from him or not, the subject calls for it. So I think somehow organically that has also happened, and people say that they see Vishal Bhardwaj all over the film, and I take it as a huge compliment.